What an eventful week it's been between John Cena turning heel and, of course, Naomi saying those 3 words, I did it. It's been a wild week in the WWE. And, of course, we're coming up on AEW's Revolution, which is going down tomorrow on Sunday. We're going to be doing a live watch along of that show over at the Going in Raw channel, youtube.com/Steve and Larson and twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. But this is WrestleJuice. I'm asking for your pro wrestling hot takes. So let's go ahead and dive into them. First up from Hello Empty Bus Seat. Says Bianca should and will turn heel before WrestleMania. Now, I know I've gotten plenty of pushback on my assertion that WWE sees her as ostensibly the new John Cena, and I don't think they're ever gonna turn her heel. As much as I would love to see it, as much as I loved heel Bianca in NXT, unless they found a damn good storyline reason to do it, I really don't see them doing it from a business perspective. I just don't think they would think it makes a lot of sense. I don't know this for a fact, but something tells me that if anybody in the company were to be the next Make-A-Wish person, and if it's not Cody Rhodes, it'd be like Cody Rhodes, and it'd be Bianca Belair. I just sort of feel it. I have no idea. I got no numbers on how many Make-A-Wishes she does. If she does any of them, I don't even know. But she's got that feel to her. Everybody loves her. Crowd loves her. And as fun as it would be, it needs to be the kind of thing where after she's been this super good guy for like a decade plus or whatever, when she's coming down to like the end of her run, then you give her a John Cena level heel turn where it's like, oh my God, that's crazy. Maybe, just maybe with the huge influx of new talent coming in from NXT, that'll make things go a bit quicker in terms of a Bianca Belair heel turn. Sure as shit has not happened at WrestleMania. There's a lot of you out there who are saying, oh yeah, Bianca was in on the Jade getting beat up. Well, SmackDown put an end to all that conversation. So no, I don't think Bianca's gonna turn heel anytime soon. I'd be surprised if it happened by the end of this decade. I'm gonna say by 2030, Bianca Belair will not turn heel. Y'all can quote me on that in 5 years. You can look at this video and be like, look, you're an idiot. She turned in 2029. I'll be like, close enough. But I don't see it happening. I think from a business perspective and just from a storyline perspective, I think she's still great as a good guy. Man, she was such a good heel in NXT, though. I do miss those days. Gorilla Mon says Shinsuke's reign was the worst title reign I've seen since I started watching wrestling 20 plus years ago. Shin did nothing. At least Dean Ambrose was on TV as United States champion. Yeah, man, this was not a good title reign. This was his second defense. The guy was barely on television. For those of you who said when he won that championship, this was basically so he could, and again, I don't even know like really the reason for this. This was so that Shinsuke could wear the United States championship walking into that Noah match that he had, and that happened. I guess you're right. Well done. This was bad. I don't know the reason for this. You know, dude, I kind of feel like sometimes maybe creatively speaking, and I think we've seen this with Triple H before, he'll have an idea. Hey, Tony Khan does the same thing. He'll have an idea. He'll execute said idea. And then, I don't know if that was a good idea. And so, like, you get sort of stuck in this analysis paralysis, if you will, creatively speaking. And that just ends up, you do nothing. Week after week goes by and the guy is not used. And it's like, oh, okay, let's put him back, in the background somewhere. Maybe that'll work. And it doesn't do anything for him whatsoever. I will say this, the one positive, because I'm a glass half full type guy, remarkably, in the world that we're living in right now, it did give us what I think is a pretty decent heel theme for Shinsuke Nakamura. The presentation for heel Shinsuke is really, really good. I think at this point, Shinsuke is basically this is not an excuse for them using him as United States champion in such a horrible way. But he's like a depth guy. It's like Finn Balor. He's never going to be the guy. He's going to be a guy who's booked strong enough that it's like a good win for dudes on the come up. So I don't know. It is disappointing though. I'd love to do a list, maybe with Larson or something, about like the worst title reigns of the past 15 years and just see if we can cobble together something better than Shinsuke's. And when I say better, I mean worse. I mean, like, has there been a worse title run in the past 10 years, 10, 15 years or whatever? Be interesting to see if that was, if anything can match how bad this title run was. The Champ 0725 says the Cena Orton rivalry isn't that great. Mostly Vince's fault. The nostalgia blinds people for seeing how forced it was. Okay, so I'll be honest with you guys. I don't remember anything about them feuding because I think I wasn't really watching back then. The period of time between, like, I want to say 2007 and like 2010 or so, I had really dropped out. I had really, like, just sort of tuned out. I watched every once in a while just out of curiosity. I don't think I saw those WrestleManias when they were happening, like, live. I went to the one in 2005. I probably was around for 2006. And then 2007 to 2009, 2010 or so, I had pretty much dropped out. So, yeah, I think that was probably when they were feuding. So I don't remember a whole lot from that stuff. I take you guys' words for you know, that they feuded and they had a lot of matches. Luckily, I guess for me, I dodged that bullet. Brandon Will Win says the Paul Levesque era is a stupid name. This period in WWE should be called the New Boom Era. That's a terrible alternative there, Brandon. I appreciate you offering up an alternative, though, because if you just said the Paul Levesque era name is stupid, and then you didn't offer up an alternative, I'd be like, okay, Brandon, you come up with a better name. And then it's like I said that, and you didn't come up with a better name. New Boom Era is terrible. That being said, I understand. Look, I get you. I understand. Paul Levesque era doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. That being said, it's probably the most accurate thing you can call it because his replacement of Vince McMahon as head of creative, and with how forward-facing he is, he's always around. He's always on the socials pointing at people. He's always, doing the backstage stuff. He's always doing the press conference stuff. He is the corporate face of the company. And so it just makes sense. And at some point, we'll enter into a different era, 10 years from now or something, and maybe they'll call it something. Maybe it'll be the HBK era at that point, or the CM Punk era when they take over. I actually don't mind them going at this point now, them using the names of whoever is creatively at the helm. I feel like that kind of does make sense, even if it doesn't make for the most creative name. Anyways, hope you don't mind a little bit of teasing about your alternative, but thank you very much for the hot take. Timbo says heel Cena will not be booed and will actually be cheered. This will be the beginning of the WWE Universe beginning to turn on Cody. All right, man. People have said it since the moment he stepped foot in WWE. When are they going to start turning on Cody? Those fans are going to start turning on Cody at any time now. When Randy Orton mentioned John Cena turning heel last night on SmackDown, what did the crowd do? They booed the shit out of it. And it's interesting because I remember listening to a brief segment from the post-wrestling show where one of the dudes over there said something along the lines of, the reason why they booed John Cena and Roman Reigns back in the day is because fans didn't like the creative of WWE, and they used that to express that. They used John Cena and Roman Reigns. They booed them to basically say, this product sucks, so we're going to boo the face of that. And now they're cheering Cody, largely because people are happy with the product. Also, Cody's booked much better than John Cena and Roman Reigns in that, I don't know, he does face some amount of adversity. Like, he does come across as less cartoonish than those guys and a little bit more, I guess, normal. Like, under Vince McMahon, Roman Reigns had no idea who he was, and it showed. Anyways, getting back to the Cody thing. When Randy Orton mentioned John Cena, they booed. Why? Even though they loved the heel turn, and they were like, oh my God, this is cool. They're buying into the creative. They're saying, oh, John Cena, it's the same thing with the New Day. People know the New Day are performers, but they went out there as performers and they did the thing where they said, Big E, you suck. And then they booed the living crap out of the New Day. They've totally dropped the ball in the New Day, but everybody understands they're performers. But that's the validation for putting on a good performance and for writing some cool shit is we'll now buy in. You're the bad guy. I'm going to boo you, because that's the response that this good creative is supposed to warrant from me, so I'm going to go ahead and give it. Fans are a bit savvier these days. They kind of know it's fake. So they do what they're supposed to do. What the creative is asking them to do, they'll do it because they're being entertained right now. So I don't think they're going to turn on Cody at all until the product in general, really, if it starts sucking, then eventually they'll get to the point where like, boo, this sucks. This is stupid. And they'll turn their direction. They'll turn that ire onto Cody Rhodes. But in the meantime, if they like the creative, they're going to respond in the way that creative wants them to. Luis says, should be Sami versus Kevin Owens at Mania instead of Kevin Owens versus Randy. Could do a 3 stages of hell to escalate the feud. Couldn't agree more with this one. I don't know if this is even a hot take because I think most people probably would rather see Kevin Owens versus Sami. I want to know what Sami Zayn's going to do. I know some of you had offered up the possibility of Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. Unless they heat that up right now, I don't see that happening. I just don't think, as much as I love Karrion Kross, I don't know if I see him. Look, man, that WrestleMania, it's going to be rarefied air. Not everybody's going to make the cut. And it's weird if Sami Zayn's not at WrestleMania because he's one of the most popular guys they have. He's one of the most featured guys they have. He's got to do something at WrestleMania. You would think it would have something to do with Kevin Owens. Maybe Sami Zayn comes back to attack Kevin Owens and inadvertently attacks, because, he's got that haluva kick that just seemingly finds all the wrong people. Maybe he inadvertently haluva kicks Randy Orton. They end up in another triple threat for WrestleMania. Or maybe Sami ends up as the special guest referee, which doesn't even sound very good either. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what Sami's going to do. I kind of agree with this. I think they should have found a way to escalate the Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens stuff. Alas, here we are. John O'Davy says Triple H is seriously dropping the ball with Drew McIntyre. He had so much momentum coming out of the CM Punk feud, which now appears to have been completely squandered. No offense to Priest, but Drew deserves better than a lukewarm feud leading to a mid-card match at Mania. All right, here's my prediction for Drew McIntyre. You with me? Drew McIntyre will not lose another match in 2025. And he may even win the title in 2026 at WrestleMania. I think that last night on SmackDown, that was the biggest sign for me. 2 things. Number 1, I think Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest are going to get together and say, hey, you know what? This might not be what either of us wanted at this point, but let's make the most of it. Let's just push this thing to a violence level on par with, and an intensity level on par with what we saw with CM Punk. Is Damian Priest CM Punk? No, not even close. But if they can both bring out a sense of urgency out of each other, people are going to be interested to see what happens and where this goes. The fact that Drew so easily beat Jimmy Uso last night on SmackDown, I was thinking to myself, oh, I think he might have turned that corner. I think the WrestleMania match with Damian Priest, I think Drew's going to win that to make up for what happened last year. And I think they got plenty of history there with that to reference that stuff and to make it kind of interesting. And I think that he's going to go on a win streak. He might be the next Mr. Money in the Bank, which again would be 2 years in a row. He messed up the first one. He got cashed in on at WrestleMania. That history with Money in the Bank, I think he's going to get that Money in the Bank briefcase, and I think he's going to cash in. I think he's going to be champion. I think all that shit's going to happen because you're absolutely right. If it doesn't, all that momentum is for naught. But I think they're going to do that. Bucket Dipper says Tony Storm and Mariah May should main event Revolution. Nothing says Hollywood ending like a Los Angeles main event. And as you can see, this was upvoted 25 times. I think it was the most upvoted one we had, which makes it an ice cold take. Of course they should main event. Everybody knows they should main event, but will they? I think they might. They're in Hollywood. They're in Los Angeles. I hope they do. I hope they do. It's a Hollywood ending. It's last match. Should be. Especially given that Cope is not going to win that AEW title off of Jon Moxley. Probably going to do the world title last, but no, I agree with this, and I think everybody would agree. Tony Storm is absolutely magnificent. Mariah May's come alive. This whole feud has been really, really excellent. It deserves to main event. I 1,000% agree. Jason White says, did you have flashbacks of Supreme being set on fire in XPW when you were in the arena on Wednesday night with the Hangman MJF spot? So for those of you who don't know, when I was post-college in Los Angeles, back in, God, what was it, 99, 2000? I forget what year it was. Maybe it was 2001. Whatever it was. Maybe I was in college. I forget. Anyways, XPW, the very controversial wrestling promotion there in LA, still around, still very controversial. There is a match where this dude named Supreme, who a lot of people, he ended up training a lot of people, and a lot of people love that guy, and he just passed away a couple of years ago. But yeah, he had a match against like a heel faction. I forget the dude's name that he was fighting. In any event, they lit a table, seemingly using the wrong kind of lighter fluid, and then lit it on fire, and then put him through it. And he just was soaked in all that lighter fluid, and he just kept on burning. And I was me and Larson were there live, watching that happen. It was horrifying. Never went to another XPW show again. Wouldn't go to another one. But no, I didn't think that was going to happen because, like, it's AEW. They're on cable television. I didn't think they were going to. Remember, XPW was in it. If you guys haven't seen the Dark Side of the Ring on XPW, you should. Arguably one of the most irresponsible pro wrestling companies ever. And that's saying a lot. And I don't think AEW would do something quite like that. I know they're not perfect. I know there's been plenty of instances where it's like, oh my God, that guy clearly looks concussed. Why is he still wrestling? But this is kind of on another level, what happened to Supreme. So, no, I didn't think it was going to happen. I was like, as soon as he tries to light this thing, producers are going to come screaming down. And that's exactly what happened. So, no, I thought we were pretty safe. But, oh boy, that Supreme incident. That was pretty gnarly. I think you can still find that on the internet, too, if you want to. Anyways, that's going to do it for this is Hot Takes. That's going to do it for Hot Takes here at WrestleJuice. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe and hang out with us if you want to watch AEW Revolution, or if you're going to. I'm not going to show it to you, but you can see my face react to stuff, me and Larson. Tomorrow, I think it starts at 4 or 5, something like that. That's going to do it. We'll see you guys around.